Them say Palaluagwan for the girl, them boom, shock attack. This is K24 this morning, and my name is Mungalambuvi. How are you doing?
The third presenter of Rhythm Vibes.
Yeah?
Don't know why you woke up so early. Should have come in during the weekend, as you can see. We have a great show ahead of you. This is K24 this morning. My name is Jeff Mote. DJ Slick on the decks.
Oh my God.
Already ashaanza kuvuruga.
Hey, tumeingia jam session right now. Pull up.
Oh my goodness. I hope your Moi Day was good. Speaking of Moi Day, what? We were told to make sure we do selfless acts wherever we are.
Yes, I did.
Better the community. So how did you do that?
My whole community is in my house right now.
Yes.
Hey, watu wako na hangi mbaya.
So that was your selfless
watu
act.
wametapakaa hivi kwa nyumba. Literally. That was my selfless act.
It's one of those people whose dam is in Movie's house. Please send us an SOS. Tell us, let us know how you are. At K24 TV, you can also get us on 21222. I had to make a short run. Uko Isinya.
Yes.
Came back.
You guy.
I know.
Kama si Nakuru,
I know. We are stopping this
Machakos, like
thing.
Muda, Amua.
I'll just
Kipchoge.
And that's another big thing also happening this weekend. It's all headlines, all eyes, of course, in Vienna as Eliud Kipchoge does the business. Guys feeling very confident.
Yes.
He also saying that the first time I wasn't too sure how this thing would work.
Right.
This time round, now I know what I need.
Right.
And as you can see, every single thing he needed has been put into account.
I have been following his tweets, and this guy is ready.
Okay, fantastic stuff. We'll be talking about that as well as we jump into the newspaper review in a couple of minutes. Look at those big stories and what else is coming up as far as the news cycle is concerned this morning. Marcos Olang, Duta Oero, good morning, gent and lady. Good morning. How's the Moi Day?
We were here.
Oh, we were here. Okay.
Or else you wouldn't have gotten a newspaper to review today.
Well, as you can see, some are damaged in your house.
Oh, yeah.
Others, it was just another Thursday for them.
Yep. Well, of course, looking forward to the whole Hangout Friday. We've got cooking today going on. Shika's going to be hanging out with one Walter Mungare, who's a liaison. Yes, senior. Who's a liaison at the presidency. So you better stick around for that because apparently, si matoke peke yake wanapikanga vitu singine.
We get interactive as well on the show. So all the crazy stories that have been trending online, we'll talk about them right here. We also get up close and personal with Masauti, going to be in the house right here. He's going to do an amazing performance as well. So stick around for that. What we need is for you to wake up. It's not a long weekend. Friday, you have to go to school. You have to go to work. So let's get up together. Get us at K24 TV, 21222. Let us know how your morning is so far. Let's get right into the newspaper review. Good morning. Good morning. It's now time for us to look at the big stories of the day, as we said. As always, let's look at the front pages first and then dig a bit deeper into what our papers have for us. Start off with the People Daily's front page. IG calls crisis meeting over rogue police. Senior cops who have stayed in Nairobi for over 3 years to be moved. Redeployed APs to undergo refresher courses. This, of course, all to do with matters security, and you can get that in the copy of your People Daily. In the Standard, it's all about boardroom and backroom politics as far as State House is concerned. The big war in Uhuru's State House. Trouble is brewing in Uhuru's kitchen cabinet. Chief of Staff Njoka Waita is a man under siege as Kenya's succession battle gets personal and dirty for the aides. As you can see there, it's all the president's men, Mr. Joseph Kenywa, Mr. Nje Muturi, Deputy Chief of Staff, Mr. Kinoti Ambogwa, State House Comptroller, and Mr. Karanja Kibisho, Interior Principal Secretary, right there. What are the intrigues going on in State House? That's what they're detailing in your copy of The Standard this morning. Front page of the Daily Nation, Jubilee rift, Ruto-Tuju feud over poll. Deputy President's move to announce party elections set for early next year stirs up a hornet's nest in the ruling party, with the Secretary General saying only the National Executive Council can call for the vote, and members of the Kiweleke camp accusing the DP of staging a coup. This for a ruling party that has been talking about the fact that they are united all through. Says a lot, but that's what you get in your copy of the Daily Nation. Front page of the Star, CMC appeals to Uhuru over 12 billion shilling police tender row. Company accuses Kibisho of disobeying an order against inviting fresh bids. Motor firm says bidding process skewed and favors state officials. That's what the stars are making sure you wake up to this morning. And front page of the Business Daily, Safaricom seeks to acquire stake in Ethiopia Telco. Addis company is the world's largest telecoms monopoly, and that's what they're looking at getting a stake in. You can get all of those details therein in your copy of the Business Daily. So let's quickly look at some of the stories that we have this morning in our paper. We'll start off with the People Daily's front page. We mentioned this and touched on it, I think, last week, if I'm not wrong, because we've spoken about the fact that the deputy IG had said, yes, there are a couple of few elements that are, rogue, bad apples in our country, but we'll sort that out. There's nothing of concern. When they call a crisis meeting, is there more to be concerned about? Because before we thought that, okay, fine, it's two people, they'll sort them out. You don't call a crisis meeting for two individuals. Yeah,
but I think we said it last week. Capture it when it is at the bottom, at the least level, so that you don't have to fight about it when you get to the top. So I'm not surprised the crisis meeting came. I'm even surprised it came this week.
Right.
I thought immediately after the report about the rogue police officers came, they would have a meeting that same day. I'm surprised it took even a week. But it's an interesting, it was an interesting meeting. So first off, everybody, all officers will wear uniform, even in court. Right. So in case you have an issue, you go to court in your uniform. Civilian is now specifically for DCI officers. So you can't be walking around feeling all,
Right. Right. And of course, that's just supposed to go against and try and stem the impunity that comes about, because this individual is stopping you and asking you to do things. And yes, they're not in uniform. So you're not sure.
Proof of identity, that becomes a problem, because then you're accused of resisting, and then it becomes a whole...
Right. And it's interesting because you actually come to where I wanted to go, Marcus, because I was talking to one of the officers, and they're like, anytime you're stopped by a police officer or someone who's told you to do something as a police officer, ask for their police ID, and you should have their force number so that you can know that it's legitimate. But I'm saying for many Kenyans, how do you know a legitimate police ID from one that's been made that's counterfeit? You'd never know these things.
You would hardly know. And then the other thing as well is, even if someone presents, because there are some of them that have their badge numbers that are on their chest. However, I've noticed increasingly that that isn't the case. I mean, if you look around, maybe that has changed after this crisis meeting. However, more and more, you look around at your roundabouts or in different areas, you will see someone walking around in police uniform without their badge number here, without their number here. And even when it is, I mean, that thing, it's easy to produce. Let's just be honest. It's very easy. So what, again, you have a very, very good point. What is your valid form of identification as a police? I have an ID. Fantastic. And an ID is very easy to show that this, you can at least prove that it is real or fake. Driver's license, same thing. Any other activity I'm taking part in as a business, as a media house, every other form of licensing can be verified. Police officer?
And I'm stuck. Because that's why I said when it comes to, civic education, the members of the public should know a legitimate form of police identification has this number of numbers or this kind of digits. So this is what I'm looking for. But a police officer will show you any number. And you're not even sure that that's legitimate or not. It's missing a couple of digits or not. Nobody really knows. Not very many people know.
The first thing that will happen is you're thrown in the back of a Land Rover. Why? Just for asking a question. It's ridiculous.
Yeah, but also the other thing they say is familiarity. This is why they're concentrating on non-transfers. You've stayed in an area so long, first name basis with the police officer. We know each other. So every time I show up, it's like, what is it now, Nduta? We're even having such a conversation. Yes. So you see those kinds of questions, those kinds of issues keep arising. Now that they have, it's just, they need to have a systematic way of showing. Because they say there's a minimum number of years you can stay in one area. What is the maximum? Because I can stay in Nairobi forever, and then I know everybody, I know where to go for whatever deal I need to make as a police officer. So I think the shuffling will really, really also help.
You know, there's a thing that happens when you go to a police station a lot to report, especially with robberies. There's a phrase that I've encountered repeatedly. Uyo tunamjua. Uyo uibaiba vitu. Like, wait. So, wait. So, why is this guy still around?
Right.
What is happening? Is it I can't even theorize. Imagine.
Also, that brings the question of the kinds of the systems that we have in place to handle petty crimes at the police station level. If this someone is a repeat offender, there should be a way of fixing that so that we don't have these cases of this guy showing up. It's like, you're here again. And then next week, you're here again. Yeah. For the same crimes or even a level higher, because that's how impunity starts.
Yes. From that,
that particular level, because I walk in, I don't get punished in whatever level of punishment we have at that point. Next week, I'll be like, see, last week they told me this. I go back, day 2, they tell me, it's you again. And then they don't do anything. So it is levels. By the time I get to the huge crimes, they'll be like, I knew this guy was going to be a criminal, but you did not do anything to stop him. When you had the chance to stop it.
Well, those are some of the things probably they'll be talking about at those lower levels. But of course, right now, a crisis meeting being called over rogue police elements. Because it's Friday, let's jump straight to our spice flavor of your day this morning. Page 24, that is on your People Daily. In Derry, the filmmakers' heaven. Along busy Waiakwe lies a sleeping giant called Nderi Village, which to any stranger may pass as an ordinary rural setup, but the village is a huge filmmaking destination for local and international production houses. For a sleepy village that is bringing in international crews, shouldn't we know more about it? Shouldn't Nairobi County, as a county, be making sure they're marketing this particular gem?
This is Kiambu. This is Kiambu County. Leave Nairobi. But it's a valid point. Shouldn't the government, whatever level, be invested in such things? But this story makes me so happy. Because as you read through it, you can see the trickle-down effect. Sleepy Village used to be a criminal haven. Everybody, if you wanted to do something funny, you go to Nderi. But now Nderi has transformed from a crime area to a filmmaker's heaven. And some of these producers and directors are saying they don't need to create a whole new city for their own business. They just walk in. It's already there. It's already set. If they want a small family house, there is a woman there who already has a small family house and tells them, I'm good to go. If they want a pub, there's like a pub over there. So it also comes in terms of the kind of initiatives and the kinds of commitment the locals also do.
Right.
And immediately you can see the trickle-down effect. Right. Crime has already reduced. That is one big advantage. The other things now, apparently, people who used to drink a drink known as Piston now go for classier things. So already you see the kinds of
standards of living have improved.
Really sounds lethal,
somewhat.
That sounds like something you don't just
you don't drink.
You don't play around.
It's straight from an engine to your tongue.
Yeah.
And then the word used is guzzle. So you can imagine guzzling a piston.
As you can see, a sleepy village, and people talking about the fact that yes, it's a gem, but it's very specialist. That not unless you're in this particular scene, you wouldn't know. If you're coming from college and you're like, I wonder where I could go and just find some work to do, and I'm interested in filmmaking, you wouldn't know. I'm supposed to be going to Nderi. Why is that?
You know, in a way, I understand completely, and this, you see how we're reading this newspaper here today,
right?
And this is where my concern comes in. The way we're reading it here, the same way KRA is reading it.
Right.
Yeah, that's all I would say. Yeah. And considering how our taxes are often used.
Right.
Yeah, that is all I will say.
You can get more details of that, of course, in your copy of your People Daily this morning. Plenty of gems therein. We'll move on to the Standard. Front page of the Standard, as we intimated about, is the fact that all the president's men have an issue, and it's all about supremacy battles within State House. Chief of Staff Nzioka Waita, man under siege as Kenya's succession battle gets personal and dirty for the aides. Probably presumed because the fact that people thought that once Kenya steps down, automatically Nzioka would take over. But when you see such headlines, what for a team that's supposed to be making sure the president delivers, because he has what, 2.5 years to go, is this really what you should be looking at right now? Duta just give me those sense of surely I just don't want this anymore. But here we are.
This drama has been there. It's been coming and going. If it's
within
not,
the same circle.
Yes, if it's not the DP fighting against the handshake, it is the handshake fighting against the DP. If it's not Waita now has come in, he's like a new entrance into the already tumbling house. So it's just exhausting. Like, how this power play and power struggle is already taking away so much from the big four.
Right.
Because now nobody is there to consider, was this big four delivered? What is the progress? What are we doing? Everybody is just trying to see, who else? How are we going to handle it? Who's going to take over Kinyo now he's retiring?
Right.
It's petty business because now when you concentrate on these things, Kenyans are suffering. There is drought, there is issues with I don't know what and what. But now, if this is what we're all focusing on, I think we're doomed.
Right. We have the people who should be making sure the president stays the course and is focused.
Yes.
They are focused on other things.
Yes.
What does that mean for his legacy, the big four that we've been talking about?
There's this saying, a house that fights amongst itself will crumble. What we have been seeing over the last couple of years, months, intensifying, is the perfect depiction of that saying. And the unfortunate thing about a lot of our Kenyan personalities, especially people in power, is that they get so focused on the power, it becomes no longer about the task for which you got that power, the task, not the power, the responsibility that is supposed to be associated with your office. It becomes more about your ego. Yes. And a lot of what's happening here, and it happens in other areas as well. Just yesterday, I was at an event, I will not mention which one, but there was a tussle around who should speak last, because ego. So when your office becomes an office to service how good you feel about yourself, instead of what am I doing to facilitate other people's work? Because that's what each and every... I am here to facilitate your work, facilitate your work. I am here to facilitate their work. They're here to... It's a team.
Right.
I can't make this about myself, or else this entire thing crumbles. That's what this is about.
Everyone is making it about them and their ego.
Yes.
Well, as it plays out, you can get those details right there. It's in your copy of The Standard if you want more on the intrigues within State House. We'll move to the Pulse magazine. Their cover story talking about the gospel house of cards. What happened to the once vibrant gospel industry that ruled the entertainment industry a few years ago? They're seeking to get answers as to just what happened, because it all seems bleak right now. And to some extent, people have been asking the questions. You know, they had award shows that were really... They were big. It was the only thing you'd look forward to throughout the year, throughout the region. They expanded to different countries. Gospel artists had that sway. Now, like, okay, I don't know what's going on. Where did the rain start beating them, Ruta? What do you think? Is it an industry issue?
You can't look at it from one angle, because the industry is made up of these individuals. And the moment your integrity as an individual who has come up and said, me and my house, it is Christ you believe in, and your integrity comes into question, I am sorry. You've already built your house of cards and it's already tumbling.
Right.
Because a lot of this is the issue of ego as well. Because, for example, they say, unless you knew particular gospel DJs, as a musician, your song wouldn't be played. Right. So you go do your work, produce music after music, come up with an album, come up with a video, come to Jeff and ask him, Jeff, play my song. Jeff looks at you like, who are you? Or he looks at you and tells you, oh, wait, last week you said something negative about me. I am not playing your song.
Yep.
How are you going to handle that?
Right.
You see?
So that's where the issue comes in.
That is
even
one,
the gatekeepers.
That is one issue. There is the gatekeeping issue. Secondly, there is the kind of decisions you make as a person in the limelight. This story alludes that size 8, her house of cards started tumbling when she decided to defend 2 gospel musicians that were accused of sexual assault.
I don't have enough.
That story was big. And then immediately she decided to say, how do you say, listen to the other side. The moment she did that without addressing the issue itself, the house of cards.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
So it's a lot of things. There is a lot of introspection that the gospel industry needs to do. Gospel musicians themselves need to do.
Marcus, let me bring you in on this as well, because some people are saying, even as you talk about that, gospel artists have a very thin line to tread, because on one hand, you're supposed to be ostensibly, you know, giving ministry. It's not about you, it's about this gospel, but you're in a showbiz industry. Yeah. So balancing the two becomes awfully tricky, and that's why at times they get it wrong. You know, you want to be a man of the word or a woman of the word, but there's a way you're supposed to package this thing that is at times not going hand in hand with your values, and therein lies a problem.
The gospel industry as it stands today, and as it's been for the last, I'll call it a decade, because that's a period in time I've paid attention to it, it carries the symptoms and it distills the symptoms of what we have is a fundamental problem in the church and in Kenyan society today. And particularly for the church, I call it performance Christianity.
Right.
Essentially, I will show up here, and what I say is all these nice, praise God, I was born again in this particular year, Jesus Christ is my Lord and Savior, etc., etc., etc. Then as soon as I leave here, you see the person that mic'd me up?
Right.
I start insulting him. I pass by the askari at the door, I am disrespectful towards him. Every other aspect of my life does not depict this Christianity that I claim to proclaim.
Right.
That, I feel, is a fundamental problem that we've been having, and it was only a matter of time before it caught up with, one, the industry, because it is the distilled symptoms of what this is, and it is only a matter of time before it catches up now with the church as well, whose symptoms have also started showing now.
Right.
This, I think, is there a solution to it? I think there is. And it's very simple. Wow, my language almost went dark there. The solution is very simple. Stop performing.
Right.
Be you. Be who you are. Stop pretending to be something that you're not. I fundamentally understand that I am a broken human being. And I am messed up on very many different levels. That does not make me any less Christian.
Yes, that's true.
But because I have accepted it, I'm dealing with it. Because I have accepted that 10 years ago, I was admittedly not the person that I am today. I didn't learn the lessons that I've learned today. Because I accepted that and grew over time, then I have become the person I am today. And still the person I am today is still making improvements on myself. I'm still going back to this belief system that I have and interrogating it and figuring out where am I still going wrong today. Rather than focusing on, oh my gosh, I am coming to the show. Jeff, what do I tell you to make sure that you still hold this picture of me?
And you
that
don't
I have,
see the flaws.
Yes. Stop performing, be who you are, accept your flaws, work on them.
You've heard that as far as that's concerned. We have 2 minutes to go, and you're going to wrap up. Our parting shots, by the way, today I'm dictating. We're talking about this great man. I won't let you go out of this. This is the man we're talking about.
I'll have 2 parting shots.
You'll have to keep that. It's 1.5.
Yeah,
this is the one, and the other one is going to be the half.
The half is, today is the International Day of the Girl Child.
Okay.
Yes, so please make sure that you think about the kinds of behavior and the kinds of fundamental things that the girls are missing in this country today. Think about that girl who died because she did not have menstrual products. Think about that woman who's being beaten up because, oh well, apparently she did something. Instead of focusing on the instead of focusing on the perpetrator, look at how the victims can get reparations. Look at how you can help them. Make things easier for girls in 2019 onwards. That's it. Now
let's move on now to this man.
Yes,
and of course, even as we mark that day, fitting tribute as we're given right there. Ineos 159, I mean, everyone looking at it, we've seen now the corporates jumping on this particular bandwagon.
Too late.
Some people are saying he didn't start preparing this week. He's been doing it for quite a while.
A long time.
For every other corporate to try and jump on from Wednesday up until now. But this man, really humble, a hero in every sense of the word. Dutago. I just look at Kipchoge and I'm just like, wow, every single time.
The fact that he's trying what has been considered an impossible human feat, that's it for me.
Right.
End of. And I wish him all the best.
Right.
Yes, that's it.
Marcus Olang, here he is, as you can see right there, has 41 pacemakers. I mean, he's made history even just how he traveled from here to Vienna.
Yes.
Even the president, I mean, hasn't been moving like that. I mean, a man who decides he's going to live a humble life, low profile, he'll go do his thing. If he breaks it well and good, if he doesn't, he'll just go back to Eldoret and continue living his simple life.
Yes. This man is, he's an inspiration for true. There's been this question that I've seen the negative Nancy's talking about on the internet. What if he does not break the... That's fine. He has done a lot more than a lot of us ever will in a lifetime. Whether he succeeds or not, just the fact that he's going for it. Oh, bless your soul.
Right.
Yes.
Okay, and of course, I wouldn't say anything. I just leave it at that, because that picture right there just sets the mood not only for today, but even as we go into the weekend. Proper, it happens tomorrow morning.
Yes.
So we all have to be there to cheer him on, him and his 41 peacemakers.
Yeah.
You know, by the way, that thing, if you think about it,
Right.
people need to change shifts.
Yes.
Well, this is the only, he's
Right.
not changing shifts
Right.
himself. He's the one.
He's the only
He's the
one.
one.
He'll be the only one from the beginning
To
to
the
the
end.
end.
Right.
Everybody is just coming
in, go.
Yeah.
Keep the pace.
For them, it's a relay.
Live. Yes, it's,
For him,
it's the
it's the
Yeah.
marathon.
You, what have you done where teams of people need to keep up with you? Please.
There's someone who said he's gotten to a point where he's now not racing with people, he's
Yes,
racing against time.
Yes.
Yeah,
That's what he's
That's
doing.
it.
All.
End of.
Yeah.
For him, like we said, he's a winner. At this particular point, whatever happens, Eliud Kipchoge is a solid winner as far as we're concerned. And that's where we wrap up our newspaper review this morning. Mr. Marcus Olang.
Thank you.
Dujawero, thank you so much. Fitting picture in the background
I
as we
know.
go into the break. Just saying, keep jogging, keep jogging. That's what I'm saying. Take a short break. DJ Slick is in the house as well. He's in the ones and twos. This is Hangout Friday. Good morning.